Hi everyone, you're watching ANA Coding, and today we'll talk about variables and types in JavaScript. Let's take a closer look to primitive types. I prepared this code snippet to make work easier. So here we can see variable A, which is assigned a boolean value. B has a number, C has a string, D has null, and E is undefined. So we also print in all of the variables as well as the type of the variable. So there's special operator type of. If we prepend it to the variable, it will give you the string value, which will contain the type of the variable. So as you can see, A is printed as true, and its type is boolean. B is printed as number. Obviously, its type is number. C is our string, and its type is string. So D variable contains null, and surprisingly, its type is object. However, null is a primitive, but we should all remember that its type is object. It's an error in JavaScript. It was introduced by mistake a long time ago, so it historically stayed like this all the way to nowadays. So the last value is E, contains undefined, and its type is undefined. So I explicitly assigned undefined into the variable, but you must know that if you will keep it unassigned, by default, it will have the same undefined value, as you can see. I didn't assign any value in it, and it's still undefined. Let's talk about arrays next. So in this example, I declare 3 variables. First has array of numbers, second has array of strings, and third one is mixed. It has all the types possible: true, which is boolean, string, null, number. Let's see what the output is. As you can see, JavaScript is completely fine with arrays of any types inside. You can put single type variables inside the array or multiple types variables inside the array. What could we do with arrays? Let's take a look at this example. So here I'm declaring empty array, and then I call in array push. Push is the function that is embedded in any array. You can use it, and you can declare elements that you want to add at the end of the array. So when I call in push 2 times, and then I print an array, and I also print in array length to check how many elements is inside. As you can see, we see that hello and my elements were added, and the array length is 2. After I call push world one more time, the array contains 3 elements after that, hello my world. And at the end, I call in array pop. Pop is another function that removes the last element from the array. So after calling pop, as you can see, array became shorter for 1 element from the end, and its length is 2 now. In a similar manner, you can manipulate array, but only from the start. So in this example, I declare an array of 2 items, hello world. And as you can see, its length is 2 initially. Then I'm calling unshift with say string inside. And what it does, it pastes the say item at the beginning of the array, after which length is equal to 3. And after that, I'm calling shift. Shift removes first item from the array. So the array becomes hello world again. I would like to speak separately about 2 more functions, about join function in arrays and about split functions in strings. Let's see what they're doing. So first example, hello world array from 2 items. Then I'm calling join and passing empty string inside. So what it does, it creates a string by concatenating all the items, all the array. And as you can see, because I passed empty string, it also using empty string to concatenate the array. Next call, I'm calling join, but I'm passing a string with comma and space instead. So it concatenates the same array for us and creates a string which is separated the items by comma and space. Third example, I'm passing space my space string. So it concatenates it in the same manner and creates a hello my world string. Second part is the string that has hello my world with a comma. So we're splitting it in three ways. First, we split in with empty string, and as you can see, it creates array of letters for us. So it's kind of separate the string letter by letter. Second is separating by space. So it creates an array of three items for us because we have two spaces in our string. And third example, it separates by the comma and space. So function is looking for exactly this combination of items to split the string for us. So as a result, we have array of two items. Please note that this separator is never included in the resulting array. Let's talk about objects. Object is complicated structure where you can define as many properties as you can following this syntax. So it has curly braces, and first variable is an empty object, which kind of looks like this when you expand it. A second variable has two properties inside, kind, which has string inside, and age, which has number inside. So it's populated like this, and if we want to have access to the properties, we can just call object2 kind, and we will have our kind property returned. And similar manner, we call an age, and we have this property returned. So we can do manipulations with the kind, like call this same split, and do whatever we want with this property. Please note that original property is not changed. So age, we can do some manipulations with the age. Arrays and objects can contain not only primitive values, but also complicated ones. Let's take this example. So I created a complicated object that has a name and its primitive string. Age is number, but hobbies is actually an array. So in this manner, we can see that object can have embedded array inside. Property hobbies is not primitive, but it's actually a complicated structure. In a similar manner, arrays can contain objects as items. In our complicated array variable, we have two items. First is object with kind human and age 110. Second one is dog kind and age 22. And object doesn't have to be the same. It could be different objects, and it also could be a combination of objects and primitive values, etc. I wanted to stop separately on the way how we declare variables. As you may notice, I used var in all the examples because it's quite convenient when you do repeatable examples in the Chrome console. But in fact, there are three ways how you declare variables in JavaScript. So var is the oldest type, and var is the variable type that you can change. This is one. And secondly, you can also access this variable before it was declared as soon as you will be in the same scope. For example, when we're dealing with variable and we try to access the variable before it was declared, and we're using var operator, that's not a problem. The only thing is before you declare the variable inside the scope, variable value will be undefined. So after you access the variable, everything is fine and work as expected. So say we change var to const, and I need to refresh the browser to show you this example properly. So if you try to access const before it was declared, you will see the error, and your script will stop on this line and will stop processing. So similar behavior will be with let. If you try to access it before it was declared, you cannot do that. You will catch an error. So what is the difference between let and const? That let you can change afterwards. You can assign different value and then access it, and it basically behaves like var, with the only exception of that scoping that I described before. So if you will try to do that with const, you will get an error because const cannot be changed after it was assigned. There is one caveat with const. Even though you cannot change what's inside, but if you assign a complicated structure into this variable and you do the changes in the structure inside, then you can technically do that. As you can see, our const has a variable with array, and then we do in push, we add an element to that array and we change in it. It happens because arrays and objects are not stored inside the variables. What is stored inside the variables with complicated structure is the pointer to the variable, not the variable itself. With primitive types is different, and with primitive variables, we store actual value inside the variable. The last complicated structure I wanted to talk about is function. The function is a very powerful instrument in any programming language. It allows you to reuse the code and allows you to build as complicated code architecture as you want. So it could do silly things like just printing value, or it can do something useful like taking two arguments and do operation with those arguments, returning value outside. So let's see what we'll have here. So the difference between first function and the second function is that the first function does something internally, and in our case, it printing right away, so we can see something in the console. So, but we cannot see anything for the second function. Why is that? Because we doing something internally, we're turning this value outside, but then we're not doing anything with this return. We're not doing anything with this value. So things that we can change here is we can actually declare a variable calc result, for instance, and we store return value inside this variable, and then we print it. So this combination, we can actually see something from the function. It's printing none. Why is printing none? Because we're not passing any arguments into this function. So if we pass something suitable, like 1, 1 and 2, 2 to the function, then we can see that function summed the result for us into a number. This number got recorded to the calc result variable, and then we printed this variable so we can do something with our result. Again, function should be declared first to be used, and then function could be called with round brackets at the end. Sometimes function doesn't have any arguments, doesn't take any arguments, like print function in our case. And in some cases, function can take one or more arguments inside and return you something back. Because in first case, print function doesn't return anything back. That would be all for today. See you in another video. Bye bye.